I bet.
Any chance of a drink here?
Oi, ease off, all you.
Chill out, I'm fine.
Hey, I'll just get the drinks, inshallah.
Yeah. You playing cards or what?
Sorry. Yeah, I'll raise 500.
What are you doing?
Things just got interesting.
Talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
Hello and welcome to episode 420 of the Talk of the Street, another official Coronation Street catch-up podcast that, 420? And coincidentally, this week's Corrie has made me a bit sleepy and kind of hungry. I'm Gavin.
And I'm not sharing my weed with you.
I don't want your weed.
That's what you say. You could probably use it. You should eat something. You're getting very skinny. You've lost what, 25, 30 pounds?
I think I've probably down about 30 pounds since June.
You're whittling away to nothing.
I know. I was looking at some photographs of me in 2018 after I lost 85 pounds.
Uh-huh.
And I was still overweight, officially.
Uh-huh.
I think I was still officially obese at that point. But I was skinny. But my head was still the same size as it is. So it looked like it was just like a matchstick or something. And plus my skin gets all broken out when I lose weight. I don't know why.
I don't know why either. There's this picture of you, and I think it was from fairly early on after we moved here when we'd gone to Ackroyd's, and it was like wintertime. You were wearing like a winter hat, and you were holding
Iron Brew
over your head. Mm-hmm. I think that's the skinniest you've ever been. You were quite skinny at that point. That was like, what, 2014? 2013?
That'd have been 2012.
You looked good. You look good now. I think you look good at any size.
It was that sleeveless Jaws t-shirt.
Oh, yeah. Which you can still wear.
Yeah, but I'm not as skinny as I was in that photo.
Yeah, I think it's the Jaws t-shirt, though.
Doesn't help.
Doesn't help.
And my enormous head is still the same size. That's what the real problem is. That none of the weight that I'm losing is coming off my enormous head.
It comes out. Your cheeks are a little bit less cheeky.
It's coming out my cheeks. It's coming out my belly.
And it's coming out your other cheeks.
It is coming out my other cheeks. And it's coming out my wrists because now I can do this.
Ooh.
And my fingers can touch round about my wrist. I think my wedding ring would maybe fit back on again.
Shocking.
I don't know where it is.
It's up there somewhere.
It was up there somewhere. It's not up there somewhere anymore.
It ran away.
Anyway, how are you?
Gremlins stole it. I'm all right. I'm very busy at work. We had some people decide that they didn't want to work anymore.
I don't want to work.
Well, these people said we don't want to work anymore, and so we're quitting.
Good for them.
Right in the middle of like a huge project in which we need all hands on deck. And, you know, that causes a lot of stress for me because it means that I have to do my work plus their work.
Do you have to do that, or do you just feel that you have to do that?
I pretty much have to do that. Not quite. I mean, because there's stuff.
Sorry, does this require the auction talk button?
Sure, why not?
I just want to do things right.
Okay.
We'll get layers.
We will.
Auction talk.
Mm-hmm. Yes. One of them was not very good at taking photographs, which is a really important part of our job. And so I was tasked with trying to help her take better photographs because I've been doing this a long time. I've been, in resale, and my first auction job, I was 18, and I've been taking photographs for a long time. So my boss is like, can you please help her out and try to figure out why she can't get the whole thing in the picture?
But she would rather leave.
Right. So now I have to retake all of her pictures where the whole thing wasn't in the picture. for this huge, massive job that we're doing that needs to be finished by the end of October, when the antique store owner needs to be vacated from the premises because she has sold the property. So I'm under a lot of stress right now. And it's kind of crazy. But and even taking photographs of like hideous 1980s wedding dresses and sending them to Stelly and trolling her saying, this is what you're going to get married in. Even that's not helping this week.
Do you have dress down Friday?
I mean, every day's kind of dress down Friday.
Maybe that's what the problem is.
Fridays I work here, so I don't even have to get dressed at all, technically.
Maybe that's dressed down too much then. I suspect that's the problem.
I was wearing this, what I'm wearing now. Doctor Who t-shirt and the capris that I put on yesterday to go to trivia, because the white shorts that I wore to work were like full of dust and dirt and stuff from work.
I'm glad that's the reason. White shorts, you can never be too sure.
Yeah.
Shall we preamble, my dear?
Lovely. Yes, please.
Give us some of that beshitted Corrie news.
Do I look like Donald Trump to you? Anyway. Eva Cakes is not going anywhere as Catherine Tildesley signs a new contract.
Oh, say it properly.
I'm not that. Catherine Tildesley signs a new contract to stay on the cobbles for another year. I called her Eva Cakes. That's enough.
I miss the Tilsleydale days.
I did that once.
No, you didn't.
Once.
Once at a time.
Yes, but I'm assuming this means all the Driscolls are staying for another year.
Right.
So, because, I mean, it would be weird if she left and the rest of them stayed, wouldn't it?
It feels like they're still a bit of a package.
Speaking of the
rightly or wrongly.
Speaking of the Driscolls, I have something in spoiler alert that I think is going to shock you. And I'm going to enjoy it. It shocked me when I was writing the spoilers.
Is this a thing that I've texted you about?
No, I don't think so. No. Anyway.
I'm pretty sure it's a thing I texted you about.
When did you send me this text?
In response to your text about what boring moment of the week was going to be.
Oh! Yes.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. Okay.
There we go.
Yeah.
But don't let that stop you signing up to be a friend of the podcast to hear me fake shocked. I promise you, I will be shocked. Make a little mental note there.
Yeah, I'm.
Remember to be shocked in
I have
2 hours.
I have some commentary about that in 2 hours. Carrying on. The way you said it, too.
I was blunt. I was fairly blunt.
All caps.
Oh, that's a far more polite way of saying it.
All caps. All right, moving on. Spoiler alert. Not spoiler alert.
Corrie
Corrie
News, Part 2.
Yes. Rhea Bailey, who played Kaz Hammond on the show, got married in June.
Kaz Hammond.
She was Kate's fiance,
Yes.
who was an evil person and tried to kiss Maria, and then faked her own death and made it look like Maria murdered her. Yes. She married a man. In June. She married a man in June. With sister and Grammy Award winner, Corinne Bailey Ray, providing the tunes.
Well, blow me down.
We were just wondering on List of Lists what Corinne Bailey Ray was up to these days, and now we know.
Her star shone so bright and so brief.
Yeah.
Didn't it? I think she's still making music,
She's
though,
still
right?
making music, yeah.
Good for her.
Yes, good for her. And finally, light the torches, sharpen the pitchforks. No Corrie on Tuesday next week, thanks to the Carabao
That's it.
Cup.
It's the last one you said.
Carabao?
Because the way I remember it is that it's not caribou,
Yeah, because it's not spelled like caribou.
but it sounds like you're going to say caribou, and then at the last minute
It's
you
Carabao.
don't.
I think they're just making these names up at this point. And that's Corrie News.
So I got a long lie on Tuesday then.
Yes.
Excellent. No, I'm kind of looking forward to that. And now, with news that Sports Ball has given me an extra hour in my bed on Tuesday, let's move on to the feedback section that I like to call Everyone's a Critic.
Physical mail!
We got physical mail!
Physical mail and a new post office box.
Yes, I will get to that in a moment.
I like this one.
In the meantime, we have some postcards.
This one's from Canada, and it's got lots of Inuit art on it. I like this very much.
Now, as promised, Helen reads out the physical mail. That's the deal.
It is. It is. I can read better. And Gav does math better. We even each other out. Dear Helen and Gav, I thought I would send my favorite honorary Canadian some physical mail
Yep, someone gets it.
to wish you both a happy birthday and say keep up the great work.
Oh, that's lovely.
I hope you both have a great summer. Tara J.
Thank you very much, Tara.
Aw, we're honorary Canadians.
I was going to say, can we get that in writing? But I think we just did.
Yes, we did.
I'm going to stick that on my passport,
Yeah.
put on a fake moustache, and try and sneak over the Ambassador Bridge.
Or
the new bridge.
Or the new Gordie Howe
Howe
Bridge.
I'll be wearing my Gordie Howe Detroit Red Wings shirt, even
Yes.
though the number's coming off the back. But
It's fine.
I'm glad you think so.
And this is a What's Your Sasquatch Name postcard. So my Sasquatch name is Stealthy Rascal, and yours is Tree Rascal. So I guess you're a raccoon?
I'm not sure what we're talking about here.
It's your Sasquatch name. Your Sasquatch name is Tree Rascal, and mine is Stealthy Rascal. Because it's your
You repeating this is not making it any clearer for me.
because it's the letter of your first name
Oh, I see.
and the letter of your last name, which is why we are both rascals, because
Gotcha.
B is rascal.
Gotcha.
Yes. And this postcard is from California. Hello from Harrison Hot Springs.
Oh,
What are your Sasquatch names? I have just revealed them. I'm glad Cassie and Megan are gone. I hope we get more time with the regulars now. Thank you for your time and thoughts,
you're better at reading things out.
Michelle. Well, Michelle signed her name in the dark green part with black ink, so it's very hard to see her name.
Oh, poor Michelle. Thank you, Michelle.
Yes, thank you, Michelle. And finally, a postcard from Bavaria.
Luncheon.
Yes. Photographic collection. Dear Gav and Helen, we are interrailing this summer and wanted to add to your postcard collection. Granted, they are kind of ugly postcards. Sorry. Oh, that's not true. This is beautiful. This is
It's
a
a-
beautiful munchin.
It's a kind of touristy postcard from Munich,
Yeah.
which is absolutely, that's what postcards were designed for.
Right. This beautiful skyline of Munich. I like that. Thanks for keeping us company on the journey. And then there's something written in German, and then Amy and Mohammed.
Let me see what's written in German. I speak a little German.
Well, it's also in cursive.
Eesh.
So
I can read cursive. What the fuck are you talking about? Grüße aus München.
yes, that's correct. I wasn't quite sure about the Grossa.
That B is a double S.
Yes. Excellent. And those are our 3 postcards this week.
Thank you ever so much.
From all over the place, from California and Canada and Munich.
It feels like every week I say how much we love getting physical mail.
We do love it.
We really do love getting physical mail.
We do.
There was a problem with my P.O. box.
Our P.O. box.
That wasn't...
It's the talk of the street P.O. box. That's both of us. And I've checked it a couple times.
No, you haven't. When you never knew the combination and
No,
you never
but
had a key.
the first time you asked me, I checked it, and then all the other times I didn't because the combination didn't work.
There's been a problem with the P.O. box recently where the combination to get into it wasn't working, and for about a year I've been having to ask the postal people not related to the Knicker people, to go and check it for me.
Not that we know of.
And I finally lost my... I didn't lose my temper, but it suddenly became a problem this week when I said, you guys need to get this sorted out. So nobody knows how to fix the combination for any of the P.O. boxes at Eaton Rapids Post Office. So rather than that, they gave me a new P.O. box. So for all the people who are frequent or occasional physical mail senders, we have a new P.O. box.
Yes.
It was P.O. Box 12. It is now P.O. Box 212. So 212. So if you're planning on sending us physical mail...
Physical mail!
I think the P.O. Box 12 will still forward to 212 for the time being, but please update your address books. We are now the talk of the street, P.O. Box 212 212, Eaton Rapids, Michigan. It's quite exciting because we got a key for this one.
Ooh la la.
So no combinations required, and it means that I can now go in and check this when the post office is closed, because you still get into the foyer. So
correct.
Anyway, all that's to say, we're now 212 rather than 12. Now on to the non-physical mail. Welsh Emma writes, hello, just to confirm that the Grim Reaper Hospital from last week is pronounced Ersputi Clan Clwyd, there or thereabouts. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Welsh Emma. If there was anyone who was going to know how to pronounce that,
it would be Welsh Emma.
Absolutely. Jen writes, R.I.P. Rick, my flash heart forever. Thank you, Jen, for picking up what I was laying down with the filthy Richie and Catflap storyline title from last week. I knew somebody would get it. Do we think that Richie may be covering for his daughter? Yes, I do. And then Noel writes, I just want you to know that, well, Noel's got a little issue with a payment and a lost and eaten bank card, so he's changing his friend of the podcast, I think, to Patreon.
I know what that's like.
Which he's been meaning to do for a while, so that I can more easily access all the bonus goodies, he says. So please bear with me while I rearrange all my financials and get my house in order. You're still my favourite podcast, and you brighten my week.
Aww.
Every time I see that you've dropped a new show.
That's lovely.
That is lovely. I still have many opinions to share that I'm sure you'll be excited to read. Yours in perpetuity, Noel, the not-so-secret American. P.S. Full disclosure, I'm a misplaced New Yorker now living in Seacoast, New Hampshire. So next time you're in the neighbourhood, let me buy your coffee in person. What do we know about the coastal New Hampshire region, Helen?
It's very tiny.
A little bit of trivia there. Yeah, we had the question, which state has the shortest Atlantic coastline?
And that's New Hampshire.
It's New Hampshire. I think it's like, is it 13 or 30 miles? It's
something like that.
Very short anyway.
You would have been really sad because we had a question this past week about what are the two states that border the west side of Kansas, and we got it wrong. We got one of them, but not the other one.
Nebraska.
No. It was Nebraska, not Kansas. Sorry. The west side
of Nebraska.
Yeah.
Colorado.
That's the one we got.
And is it South Dakota?
It's Wyoming.
We
didn't get Wyoming. I can't remember what we put. We put Wyoming and something stupid. I think we put Nevada or Oklahoma.
That was pretty stupid.
Yeah.
Glenn writes, we
still got second place though.
Oh, good stuff. With the concept of Lucy moving into the Metcalf household, shouldn't there be at least one voice, Tim, Sally, Brodie, social worker, to ask how this will affect Joni and Shanice?
Yeah, seriously.
The latter two girls should be the priority, as a commitment has been made to both of them. Like Lucy, Joni and Shanice have been innocent victims of spousal violence, and both are likely experiencing stability at home for the first time. Is adding Lucy to the mix a healthy situation for them? If the show isn't going to tackle this, should they at least mention it? I absolutely agree, Glenn.
It kind of felt like they were kind of insinuating that with the way that Jodie looked at Lucy.
She scowled, old Joni.
Right, yeah. And the way they were both upset about Brodie moving out, even though that was totally Brodie's idea.
Yep.
Even if he was stupid enough to not ask Kit before he talked to Sally and Tim.
Absolutely. And Chicky writes, I really disliked the Idris poker game storyline, and I'm glad that Leanne caught him, though I wasn't happy that he roughed up Brody. The highlight of the week was definitely Lily opening up about the trauma of her mother's death and Lucy befriending her. This seems like a great storyline if they keep it going. On the other hand, the plot with Sarah being threatened in prison feels repetitive since we've seen it so many times before, ain't that the truth?
And it's stupid.
However, I am becoming concerned about Harry's behaviour. I think everyone's becoming a little bit concerned about Harry. Lorraine says,
He's
please,
the new Jake.
for the love of God, get rid of Idris. And while you're at it, take Toxic Lauren too.
Aw, I thought Lauren was quite delightful this week.
Nah. I could happily see the back of her. Then GM Jara says, Fiona is out for revenge. Actually, if you could get rid of Idris, I wouldn't care. So there's a lot of love for Idris in the mailbag this week.
Poor Idris.
But thank you to GM Jara, to Lorraine, to Chicky, to Glenn, to Noel, to Jen, to Elshema, to Michelle,
Amy and Mohammed, and Tara J.
and Tara G. Thank you ever so much, everybody, for writing in this week. We very much appreciate it. Feedback's always welcome. Send us your thoughts. I'll probably read them out. Get us at the talk of the street at gmail.com, or our DMs are open at Corrie Podcast, or we love it. Like I said, we love it.
We
when
do.
people write actual letters to us, send us your proper mail to the talk of the street. P.O. Box 212, Eaton Rapids, Michigan, 48827. Please note that we reserve the right to edit feedback, but only in the interests of brevity, and they will podcast for coffee. Thank you to Jenny for our coffees this week.
Thank you, Jenny.
Jenny says, birthday coffees for the biddies.
Aw.
That's us. We're old biddies now, you
We
and I.
are old biddies. We're both in our 50s now, so I am officially a biddy, and you've been a biddy for 3 years.
Is that the cut-off, is it?
Yeah.
Pre-biddy is up to 49. Then you're full biddy action.
Yeah, it's like in that movie, the Demi Moore one, where they're like, oh, well, you're 50, you can't work anymore.
Substance.
Yes, I didn't like that
The
movie.
Substance, I quite enjoyed
That
it.
Substance. You liked it. I did
I liked
not.
it better in the second watch.
You watched it twice?
I've watched it twice.
Was that before or after you decided that you didn't hate Margaret Qualley anymore?
I was after.
Ah,
I'd already warmed to her slightly.
yes, you'd forgiven her for Drive Away Dolls.
Utter shit. Thank you to Jenny. I am drinking a peach tea.
And I'm drinking pink grapefruit juice
I'm also drinking
for my liver.
a cherry float Coke Zero.
So it's got like an ice creamy flavor. It's like a creamy
They
cherry.
used to do a cherry vanilla Coke
Yeah.
Zero. It pretty much tastes like that.
That
Maybe
makes
a little
sense.
bit more vanilla-y.
Yes, but it's a zero sugar.
I never drink full fat soda.
I don't drink soda at all, so because of my kidneys. I'm done.
Okay. I just know that when you start talking about your kidneys, it's usually for the long haul. Anyway, the Talk of the Street is and will always be free in your podcast provider. And if you want to join us and be a friend of the podcast and get access to bonus material like the spoiler alert show that we'll be doing later tonight,
Banana.
and the monthly classics.
We've got to think of something for September.
Yeah, I've got one in line, but I need to get working on that this weekend.
Yeah.
Sign up to be a friend of the podcast. Go to corriepodcast.com. You'll get all the details there. For $2 a month, you get all this extra stuff, which sounds like a pretty good deal.
It does.
May not be a good deal.
It is a good deal.
And if you want to buy us a coffee, you can go to ko-fi.com/the Talk of the Street and buy us a coffee there. We'll
Yes,
we'll
please.
be appreciative of any attention we get
Absolutely.
now that we're getting older.
We need more coffee.
All right, shall we dive in, my dear?
Yes, please.
Our first storyline this week is Theo No Pulse. On Monday, Harry wasn't fucking lying last week, Helen. He really doesn't want to go to Little Big Shots. So he risks piles by sitting down on the pavement and making Kit look like a total arse. Luckily, Adam comes along, reminds Harry that he loves acting, or more to the point, he hates Jake Windass maybe acting.
We all hate Jake Windass.
And there's this Bugsy Malone thing happening that Glenda's organised, and Harry is a natural for Bugsy, says Adam. And that's all Harry needs to hear. And so in he goes.
and Adam reminds everybody that Harry was the Tin Man in The Wizard of Oz.
And he
Not-
loved
not
being
more
the Tin Man so much that he wore the costume walking home.
And wore it to dinner at the chip shop or something.
Probably went to bed with it on.
Yes. Reminds me of when Benny was little and he made that paper mache bird mask and he wore it like all the time for like a month.
Yeah, it was to the point that we were starting to get worried. Maybe we should have stayed worried. We also see Michael and Glory. They're going into little big shots, and that was adorable.
Big was Glory. When did she get big? When did she start talking?
We haven't seen her in a couple of years.
I know, seriously.
And she was doing her jazz hands.
Oh, God, she was so cute. It's like, more of this child, please, and less of that little shit Jake Windass.
Yep.
Please.
You're welcome, says Adam, but Kit's already left. In Little Big Shots, though, Harry and Jake clash when Jake calls Sarah a murdering cow, and a brief scuffle breaks out, and Jake's headphones, which look like they're made of some kind of wafer or balsa wood, they break. Glenda tries to phone Kit about this, but he dinges her call and sits in his car looking sad instead.
Yep, he's like his car, it's like he's on a... Where is he? It looks like he's on like a stakeout or something.
Yeah, but he's not on a stakeout. He's just sitting in his car looking sad. Adam and Bethany are kind of pissed off about all this because Kit said that he'd step up, look after Harry, and he hasn't done so.
I mean, that was he said that before Sarah dumped him, so...
Bethany approaches him later because she heard from Swain that he actually had the day off and didn't have to go into work after all. And when he comes home, he pretends that he's at work, and she knows that he wasn't.
That's
so that
hilarious.
makes him even more of an arse. So Kit reacts badly to this, tells her that she's not the boss of him, and she needs to back the fuck off. And this leaves Bethany staring blankly into the middle distance for quite some time.
Yes.
While all this is going on, Todd's back in the country for less than 12 hours and has already received a visiting request from Sarah. So he goes to the prison to see her and nags her to report the assault on her face, but Sarah has kind of resigned herself to the fact that this shite is going to happen because she's just a wuss. Todd has had a lot of time to think in Thailand, and while he would never understand why Sarah was happy to let Summer swing for Theo's murder, he knows she's a good person after all, and he loves her. And she loves him. Back in her cell, Sarah is visited by Casey, that's the friend that she made last week, who quickly establishes why she wanted to be friends with Sarah in the first place. Her boy's been done for armed robbery, and she wants Sarah to speak to Kit to get him to lose some evidence or lead a witness. Sarah doesn't think it works like that. Well, it kind of does work like that, doesn't it?
I mean, not always.
And besides, she's not going out with Kit anymore, so that ship has sailed. But this common sense cuts in the waist with Casey, who makes it clear if she doesn't speak to Kit, Casey will have to rethink her reasons for protecting Sarah. Gulp, says Sarah. Later, Todd calls Sarah and tells her that if she doesn't tell Kit about getting her arse handed to her on a regular basis, then he will. So Tuesday, Kit is feeling down in the dumps about the Harry situation from yesterday when Todd comes along and tells him that Sarah wants to see him and it's important. Meanwhile, Sarah's on the phone to Adam and he's grassing Kit right up for everything that happened yesterday, and he suggests to her that Harry stays with him until the end of the school holidays if Kit can't be trusted. In the prison, Casey sees Sarah and makes throat-slitting gestures to her, so Sarah quickly agrees to Adam and then hangs up. So Kit goes to see Sarah and he apologises for letting her and Harry down, but she's already heard this from Adam and that's not why she wanted to see him today, and she tells him about Casey and her lad, and Kit is none too happy about this. He's okay threatening his career on his terms, but when Sarah asks him to do it on hers, he's not about to do that in a hurry. Well, what am I to do? Sobs Sarah. I don't know, says Kit. Call Gary, see if he's busy. Ouch.
Oh no, he didn't.
And he fucks off and he leaves her to it. Uh-huh. Yes, he did. In the pub, Kit's ambushed by Adam and Bethany, and they tell him about Adam's plan that's been approved by Sarah for Harry to stay with him. Kit looks to Bethany for some support, but she's too busy staring into the middle distance to pay attention, so the die has been cast, and he goes along with it. Back in prison, in Sarah's cell, Casey wants to know what the score is with Kit, and Sarah tells her that it's a non-starter. Casey throws Sarah up against the wall, and Sarah, who at this point I'm thinking, she's killed a man about 5 times her size,
Yes.
lets this elderly woman push her around and throw her down. Casey growls at Sarah, saying this simply isn't good enough, and leaves Sarah crying on her bed. On Wednesday, basically all that happens in Wednesday's episode is that Sarah seemingly heard what I said out loud about her being a murderer, and when Casey threatens the photo of Harry,
Yes.
Sarah becomes Mama Bear and gets Casey telt.
Yeah.
Do I need to remind you that I killed a man?
Here because I murdered a man?
And this seems to work, because we don't see any more of Casey.
This week.
However, on Thursday, another one-scene wonder on this storyline. Adam and Harry are in the precinct when they run into Mum Lottie and her wee boy. Is it Reese? I think it might be Reese.
Yeah.
They're new to the area and they'll be going to Bessie school and going into Harry's year. Isn't that a coincidence, Helen? Pleasantries are exchanged and nothing else happens.
Correct.
And that's how the storyline finishes the week. So, I wonder. I don't really wonder. I wonder who this Lottie character is that suddenly had been introduced and then with no context. I wonder if Lottie is perhaps related in some way to Casey.
I'm going to say something very snobbish. If Lottie is supposed to be related in some way to Casey, they should have cast her better.
I could see her being Casey's daughter.
Sure.
I could see it. I mean,
She does not look like she grew up with a mum like Casey or a sister like Casey or any relation to Casey.
what I'm about to say that I may end up regretting is that, is Casey too old to have the name Casey?
She looks like she's like in her 60s and stuff. I know people named Casey who are like our age.
Really?
Most of them are men, and it's with a C and not a K.
Oh, is this spelled with a K?
Yes.
I don't think we've ever seen it written down, have we?
Well, I have because I do spoiler alert.
You do spoiler alert.
And I guess I look at the credits more than you do.
I'll look at the credits when I'm curious to see who's playing a character.
I tend to think that Casey with a K tends to be female, and Casey with a C
Casey Musgrave.
is male. Yes, Casey Musgrave, perfect example with a K. Casey Affleck with a C.
Neither of them are in their 60s, though.
Oh, I said 50s because we're in our 50s.
You didn't. You said 60s.
I said 50s. Why would I say 60s and say people our age in our 60s? No, I wouldn't say that. 50s.
And yet you did.
50s. I meant 50s if I said 60s. I don't think I said 60s, but
You
that's
did.
all right.
And I'll leave it in so you can hear it later.
I won't because I'll listen to this in my sleep. Yeah, like one of my best friends from Virginia, his name is Casey with a C, and he's 54.
I don't think I knew
55?
anybody in the UK called Casey.
It feels like a very American name, like Casey at the Bat,
Right, so
which is also a C.
so you kind of feel like the people who are called Casey are probably younger.
In the UK, yeah, maybe. Or maybe they're just running out of names.
I don't know.
I
We're going
mean-
to recycle Ruby in a little bit.
And
And we're going to recycle Lottie. We've had a Lottie before, haven't we? Wasn't Lottie Kate and Rana's pal?
I don't remember. That's too far down. But I mean, we've got all these children with J names and now all these children with L names. Lucy and Lily.
I don't know.
And what's
It
the-
feels...
What's the kid's name again?
I think it's Reese.
I mean, how many Reeses do you know who are boys?
Wales is full of them. It's spelled, as I'm
Oh,
sure
it's
you know.
RHYS. Like the guy who played Abomination in Spider-Man. Is Reese something?
Not Witherspoon.
No, because it's spelled RHYS as opposed to REESE or CE. Because RSE is Reese's. It's a candy. And Reese Witherspoon is with a C, isn't it? I don't know. This is getting to be a boring conversation.
Only I cared enough to look any of that up. Yeah, I think it's Reese. So what was your point about Reese? That was unusual as well?
Oh, Reese Witherspoon is with an S. Just like Reese's. I don't know. It feels like an odd name for a child who's not Welsh or named after candy
or Legally Blonde. Yeah, I don't know. There's no confirmation, obviously, at this point because we just have one scene to base any of this on. But it does seem a little bit weird that, given everything that's happening with Sarah in the prison, that this character would just show up, kind of befriend Adam, kind of get a little bit closer to Harry.
Kind of befriend
arguably.
Harry, yeah. And it's weird how Harry, who's been such a little shit in every other scene he's in, for this one is like, oh yeah, I want to be friends with this child I've never seen before. Sure.
It's because he's with Adam.
Right, yeah.
And Adam lets him away with murder, apparently.
I don't think so.
That's what he said. Adam lets him stay up whenever he wants.
I would like to know what Alia thinks of this. Of this child just showing up in her house.
Yeah, this wasn't investigated.
No, because when it comes to Alia, the opinions are all about Idris and not about having a small child in her house. So she can't walk around naked anymore.
More to pity.
Yes. I know what that's like.
I'm glad, though, that Sarah finally stood up for herself. I hope that carried some weight, because you're not telling me that Sarah can't handle herself. She grew up with David.
Yeah, but she is smaller than most of the
She's
people
small,
in there.
but I think she's a pocket dynamo. I think she really could punch somebody to death. Do you don't think Sarah could punch someone to death?
No.
I think Sarah could punch someone to death.
I feel like someone could lift her up and hold her aloft so that she couldn't punch them anymore.
I don't know. I think she'd be fighting dirty. She'd be gouging. She'd be ripping hair out of her head. She'd be...
She's too wee.
Is it sore if you get kicked in the fanny? Is that sore?
I mean, getting kicked anywhere is sore.
Right.
It's not as sore as getting kicked in the balls.
She'd be going for that.
It's not as
big time.
I think getting kicked in the tit would hurt more than in the vag.
Then that's what she's doing. She's kicking tit. That's what Sarah's going to say next week. Casey, if you come near me, I'm going to kick your tits. How'd you like that? That would please me. Anyway, let's move on. Our next storyline is Filthy Richie and Catflap. I still don't care about any of this, but I'm going to read it out anyway.
Okay.
On Monday, Shona just wanders into number 4 to make peace with Sally and Lucy and offers to buy everyone lunch at Nina's Rolls, saying that Lily feels simply awful about everything that happened. I don't believe that for a second. So at Nina's Rolls later, after one line of dialogue in which we learn Nina's gone to Whitby, do you know, I thought that was it. I thought that's Nina gone. Even though spoilers told us otherwise last week. I was like, really? That's all the screen time we're going to give to Nina leaving the show? We don't get very much more of it this week, but on Monday I thought that was her lot. Lily talks to Lucy and shares her common interest in having a deceased mother. Lily has
both of whom were
murdered.
Yes.
Lily has put everything in a letter that she gives to Lucy, and Lucy says, "Thank you, this means an awful lot." Back home, Sally's very pleased with how things went and apologises to Lucy for telling people about her mum, which she acknowledges...
Oh, we're not going to talk about Jodie kind of refusing to apologise?
No, wasn't her story to tell. What do you have to say about that?
No, it's just funny how Jodie is less mature than Lily or Lucy in the scene.
Lucy accepts that Sally was just trying to do the right thing. So, with everything smoothed over from last week, Sally goes out to buy dinner. Lucy opens Lily's note, quickly skim reads it, then rips it up angrily.
Yeah.
And you can tell she's ripping it up angrily.
Yeah.
Because she scrunched her face up.
She did scrunch her face up. At least we get to see her face this week.
We do.
She's no longer the girl from Ring.
She's still the girl from Ring.
Or is it The Ring? Is it The Ring or is it just Ring?
Well, it's Ringu in Japanese.
Right, yes.
I think it's The Ring.
Yeah.
On Tuesday...
I've never seen it.
It's all right. It loses a lot in the third act, but it's all right up until then.
Lots of movies do that.
Yeah, especially horror movies. On Tuesday, Lucy is such a fucking buzzkill, but she perks up when Sally asks her what she wants for her dinner. Lucy would like mushroom risotto because she used to make mushroom risotto with her dad, and they both enjoyed mushroom risotto. All right, said Sally, stop going on about fucking mushroom risotto, fuck's sake. And then Brody comes down the stairs of Discovery after chatting with Lou and mentions to Sally and Tim about taking the girls' version 2 to visit her in prison when they get back from Spain. If Lucy was in a good mood talking about her favourite subject, checks notes, mushroom risotto, she's in a foul mood after hearing this and doesn't understand why she can't go and see her dad if Shanice and Joni can go see their mum.
Lou hasn't murdered anyone.
Basically, that's the difference.
Right, yes. And also, Lou is more or less settled in prison now, whereas Richie hasn't been convicted yet.
That's right. Tim stands firm, and so Lucy tells him to suck her balls. I've just realised that last week she said that nothing could stop her from visiting Richie in prison.
Uh-huh.
How's that working out for you, Lucy?
Yeah.
As Sally and Tim eat mushroom risotto without Lucy, they wonder if maybe they've bitten off more they can chew here. Sally advises Tim that this job might be too big for the both of them.
Right. And also, what are we going to do with all this mushroom risotto?
Because none of us like it.
Who doesn't like mushroom risotto? It's delicious.
I always find it a little underwhelming. If it has something else in it, like the carcass of a dead animal, it's a little better. Like a beef risotto.
I love a mushroom risotto, me. It's nice and creamy and delicious. Rice and mushrooms and cream and cheese.
And beef?
No.
Oh.
What's not to love about mushrooms and rice and cream and cheese?
And beef.
No beef.
Oh. On Wednesday, Tim gets a call from the social worker letting him know that they'll be taking Lucy to her forever home tomorrow.
Or her next foster home. Her official foster home.
Rather than just let this happen, Tim decides that he and Sally are the only family this complete stranger has. Sally points out that once the girls' version 2 come back, then Lucy is fucked. But Brody appears and helpfully offers to go and live with Kit. Fuck's sake, mutters Sally. However, when Brody goes to float this by Kit and suggests that he stays there in Kit's ex-girlfriend's flat with him, Kit says the timing isn't right, so Brody eventually finds a home with Bernie that we see nothing of. Tim and Sally break the news to Lucy that she can stay with them if she likes, and the social agree, and Lucy, it turns out, doesn't give a fuck one way or the other, and stomps off to her room. I thought that was so strange though. Kit's flat is currently inhabited by Adam and Alia, and will be for the next couple of months, Kit said last week.
Right.
So, Brody is asking Kit if he can move into Sarah's flat.
Yes. With him and, well, Harry's not there. Him and Bethany.
It's odd. I can see Kit's reasons for, oh, you know what, maybe this isn't the best timing for this.
I don't understand why Brody would talk to Tim and Sally first and then Kit.
No, that makes no sense.
This makes no sense. But you know what? I think being with Bernie and Dev is the best place for that kid. I think it helps Dev with his empty nest grieving. And I think if there's anybody besides Sally and Tim who really want the best for Brody, it's Bernie.
She indulges him a little too much though.
Well, that's why you've got Dev there.
Where I think Sally and Tim, oddly, maybe the stricter household. And kids need discipline.
I mean, we haven't really seen them discipline Brody in a while. And Brody's kind of toned down significantly when he's in the house.
Yes, when he's in the house, absolutely. I suspect that the whole Kit confusion kerfuffle, some of those were hard C's and some of them were soft C's. Or C's.
Yeah, only one of those was a C.
That scene, I think, was only there so that Brody's in a bad mood with Kit and then blurts out something that's going to be important in another storyline.
Yes.
but it's still weird. And it's still weird asking to move into your dad's ex-girlfriend's house. This so strange. On Thursday, the wheels of bureaucracy never move quite as quickly as they do when a plot needs advancing, so Sally gets a call from the social services confirming that Lucy can stay with them for the time being, just as Tim gets a text from the prison with a visit order from Richie. Sally tells him to ignore it, but Tim is nothing if he's not someone who follows visiting orders, so off he goes. And the visiting has barely started when Richie says that he wants Tim to tell the police about what a violent bitch Rachel was. But I never met her, says Tim. Yeah, but you heard me go on about her long enough to an almost suspicious level, says Richie. Exactly, says Tim. Richie loses his shit and orders Tim to lie for him, and he does this loudly, and it draws the attention of prison guard Ross. And we get the idea that Richie...
Is it Ross or Russ?
Ross.
Is it Ross?
Mm-hmm.
Why do I think it's Russ?
I don't know. And we get the idea that Richie has been a particular nuisance inside on more than one occasion. Ross does look like a prison guard.
He does. Because they all look evil. I shouldn't say that.
No, and I thought you were going to say something much worse, so I think we'll take evil. Because I thought you were going to say that... Anyway.
An ex-boyfriend of mine's dad was a prison guard. And he was nice. He is the son of one of my mom's coworkers. So, like, I know the family all the way down.
Fucking Connecticut, man. Tim goes home and tells all this to Sally and reveals that he has no intention of lying for Richie, which I was so relieved about.
Yeah, me too.
And this summons Lucy down the stairs of Discovery. She's heard, somehow, that Tim went to see her dad, and she loses her shit now, saying that he didn't do anything wrong, and Rachel was going after him with a knife. Fucking hell, says Tim out loud. In the pub later, Ross comes over to talk to Tim and Sally and again lays the foundation for Richie being a country mile away from being the model prisoner. On Friday, the girls' version 2 are back, and literally 5 seconds in the door before Sally mentions that the social workers will be in touch today. And then Joni finds out that Brody's moving out and is upset that Sally and Tim would kick him out. And when Brody sets the record straight, he explains that he's only going to be across the street. And she says, but I thought that we'd stick together forever. Well, I'll just be across the street.
You'll be across the street. And also, not forever, ever. Forever, ever?
No.
Forever, ever?
When Lucy comes down the stairs, Sally announces that everyone is going to get on famously. Yeah, Sally. Famously. Like Alexander Hamilton and Aaron Burr. Am I right? Or famously, like Joan Crawford and Betty Davis. Am I right? That kind of famously, Sally?
Yes.
Is that what you're talking about?
That's exactly what she's talking about.
Mm-hmm. Those were great references.
Those
Thank
were
you.
great references. You're welcome. Yeah. Jodie had... Yeah. And Jodie looks like Aaron Burr staring down Lucy is. Although Aaron Burr is the one who murdered somebody. So I guess Lucy would be Aaron Burr and Jodie would be Alexander Hamilton in this case.
Or Thomas Edison and Nikola Tesla.
Yeah. So Lucy would be Edison because she's more evil than Jodie. We've never seen Jodie be evil before. She's been pouty. But we don't think that Jodie's ever murdered anyone.
Are you saying Jodie or Joni?
I'm saying Jodie, but it's Joni.
Yeah.
I think I need a nap.
Later. Oh, and Joni and Shanice both give Lucy, I'm calling it death stares.
Yeah. And it takes a lot to get a death stare from Shanice because she is a cutie patootie.
She is. Later, everyone is decorating a cake with strawberries. And when Shanice tries to join in, Sally tells her to wash her hands. So Shanice just drops the contaminated strawberries back in the bowl.
Right. And then
Good girl.
And then they talk about the other gals, the original gals, putting boogers in food.
Or as we say, bogies. That was quite funny when she just drops the strawberries back in the bowl.
Yeah.
I love a little bit of attention to detail, or lack thereof, but it brought me some joy.
Right.
And I'm not getting an awful lot of joy out of this storyline, but this gave me some joy.
Yeah.
Then Tim knocks over a mixing bowl, and when it clatters on the floor, Lucy runs outside. Tim goes out
It wasn't even that loud. I expected it to be like something heavier.
No, and Lucy
Then-
was looking at it.
And then an aluminum bowl or aluminium.
Thank you. It would be different if Lucy had her back turned to it, or
Right.
it sounded like a gun going off or something.
Right, or if it was like something heavy, like steel.
Tim goes out to see her and they share some info about the things that they like. Tim likes Weddy County, Paul Weller, and cheese. Lucy enjoys making bracelets and playing piano,
And
enjoys a band that I've never heard of before,
No,
or a
me-
female performer.
yes.
Tim says that
CMRT or something?
hormone replacement therapy. Tim says that the most important thing for him and Sally is that their kids and their care feel safe and secure. We're all in this together, he says. And that's as far as we get with that this week. So I still don't care about this.
And they're also sitting on the lid of the hot tub, which you're not supposed to do.
They're just throwing caution to the wind. This is what Tim does to look cool in front of the young kids. Sit in the hot tub lid.
Well, she was already there.
Yeah, I don't think she weighs quite as much. It feels like the show doesn't think that we've all already sussed out that Lucy killed her mum.
And
Which I think is where they're going, isn't it? Is that what you think?
yeah, but I mean, we were burned by the whole Jody as a serial killer thing, so I'm still keeping my cards fairly close to my chest as far as all of this is concerned. But I also just don't understand why the show wants us to care about a murder of a woman we've never met and we don't even know what she looks like.
No. She could be 7.5 feet tall for all we know.
Right, yes. We know her name is Rachel.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's it.
And everything else that we know about her is through
Richie.
the lens
And
of
Lucy.
Richie.
And I mean, when Lucy's looking at her phone and looking at pictures of her dad and just her dad, which is a bit
That
creepy.
was weird, wasn't it?
That was so creepy. You know, you're scrolling your pictures and it's your dad, and then it's your dad again.
And it's not her and her dad.
No, and it's
It's
not.
just her dad.
And it's not her dad and her mom, or her and her dad and her mom, or even her dad doing something like a tourist picture or something, them on vacation or bike riding or something. It's just him standing there smiling, and then a close up of him standing there smiling. It was creepy as fuck. I don't think the show kind of understands that. It feels like the show doesn't understand that. This was just done to show how much Lucy loves her dad. And that's also kind of creepy.
Yeah. I think you might be the only person in the world that has a photograph of me not doing something stupid. If you're going to have a photograph of me, I'm probably doing something stupid. You've just got photographs of me. Mostly my backside, I have to say.
Yes, because you have a very nice backside.
Or looking miserable because you're, for some reason, you love taking photographs of me when I'm just staring off into the middle distance, not thinking about anything. So I always look miserable in your photographs.
Or when you're eating. Mm-hmm. Which is nice.
Which is a serious business. I mean, that's why I'm looking like that.
Yes. But,
So that,
you know,
I mean, do I think that any one of our kids has a photograph of me just standing there smiling on my own?
No.
No, of course I don't.
I don't even have a picture of you standing there smiling on your own.
No.
I have a picture of you standing by the sign for the Uranus fudge factory
I'm going to put that.
showing your ass.
I'm going to put that in the doing something stupid category.
Right, yes, where you've got your backside out, but then you're looking over your shoulder coyly and doing this.
Coquettishly.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you have a picture.
I know what you want.
But then you also have a picture of me standing behind one of those like picture things where it looks like my head is coming out of the ass of an elephant
I do.
from the Uranus fudge factory.
I mean, it's one joke at the Uranus Fudge Factory, but it's a decent joke.
Yes, and the fudge is good. And they're very friendly there. They say, "Welcome to Uranus."
Every 30 seconds.
Yes.
For-
Because that's how because people are entering the building every 30 seconds. Because it's a good joke.
Yeah, I just don't care about Lucy, and every time she's on the screen, she's just such a downer. She killed somebody that I don't know, probably.
And you don't even know what they look like. And her dad is related to Tim, but we've never seen him before. And we barely met him, and he was a grumpy Gus and not a very likable person. And then he maybe murdered his wife.
The ideal way for this story to have progressed this week was for the social to call Sally and say, we're placing Lucy in her forever home, and then that was allowed to happen. And then we all just moved on.
Or, you know, they didn't write the story at all.
Yeah, I wouldn't have missed it.
No.
I mean, I'm happy for a Tim storyline that doesn't feature his penis. Don't get me wrong.
Yes, but
I don't want this.
I feel like we've had enough Tim, dad of the street, voice of reason with the kids. I feel like we've had that enough before we got to the storyline, because we had it with Brody and Joni and Shanice, and also
Gavin?
No, not Gavin.
Oh, you're pointing at me.
Will.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like there's somebody else too. I feel like there's another kid on the street that Tim has sat in a garden somewhere and talked to and made them feel better about themselves.
The only thing that really gives me any joy at all is Sally being annoyed at the situation, because it feels like she's the audience in this.
Yes. But it also feels like the show wants us to not side with Sally, to think that Sally is being a bit of a snob here because she cares so much about her sofa cushions. And that's why she
does
kicked
care
Richie
about
out.
the girl's version too, more than she cares about Lucy.
Yeah,
And I
which
think
is
that's fine.
understandable. Absolutely understandable.
And again, she only got roped into all that stuff thanks to Tim.
Right, yeah. That was all Tim's idea too.
Fucking hell, Tim. All right, we'll move on to our next storyline. Poker in the rear.
Does that really work?
Mm-hmm, because it was in the rear of Speed Daal.
I guess. Isn't Speed Daal just like one small room?
Well, the front of it, I think, is the entrance.
Down the stairs.
Liquor in the front. On Tuesday. Anina rolls, Alia cuts the bullshit and gets straight to the point with Idris. She wants 45k for her half of the Speed Daals. And this surprises Idris so much that he spits his tea back into his mug.
We haven't seen that since it was loudly announced in the Rovers that Dylan choked Betsy during sex. What happened to that storyline?
I mean, it feels like characters spitting liquid back into their cup or out was very big in the 1920s. And then it went through a little bit of a lull. But it's getting a bit of a renaissance in Coronation Street lately. Characters get a surprise, so much so that they can't swallow.
You know why?
They have to expel the liquid back into its original container.
I think it's our fault because of the Empty Cup Awards. They want to prove that there's something in there.
Yeah.
By making them spit it out.
You're fooling nobody. Anyway, he eventually agrees, and now he has the task of finding that extra 10k. He's playing chess with Sam and Speed Daal later, and he's not very good at it.
He's shit at it.
I had a great little scene with Sam and Leanne when Leanne asks if Idris is any good at it, and Sam's like, no.
Yeah.
No, he isn't. He gets a call from one of his pals and he looks to be tapping them for cash, but it seems that they turn him down.
I think it's a relative.
Was it? While he's off making this call, Ollie and Sam get chatting about chess. Sam asks if Ollie plays, and Ollie says poker is more his game, which was a weird segue. Play chess? No, but I do enjoy tiddlywinks. Idris comes back and overhears this, and from no more than a couple of lines of dialogue where Brody mentions that Ollie is a poker demon, despite Ollie only ever saying that he plays poker.
Once.
Idris hatches a plan. He tells Leanne about Alia's offer and his troubles trying to find that extra 10k. Leanne says that she can rustle up 5. That'll do nicely, says Idris. And Leanne says that she can get it to him tomorrow. An awful lot of this episode is Idris running from one place to another with Brody in his wake. And I think it's Brody that's making me enjoy it a little bit more than I would normally.
Do you like the fact they match?
I didn't notice.
They're both wearing light blue collared tops.
I did not notice that. So Idris goes to speak to Alia and manages to secure the restaurant after hours tomorrow night for a private function. Lauren is in the middle of chatting to Ollie about the prospect of them getting back together again when Idris interrupts and hires them both for the poker night tomorrow, but not a word to Leanne or Alia about this. Yeah, whatever, says Lauren, who just refuses to play along or get in the spirit of things.
No, which is fine.
On Wednesday, so Idris puts the feelers out for his super secret poker night in Speed Daal, and then he approaches Ollie to get him on board. Because Idris doesn't gamble, he wants Ollie to play for him using his money, and, just to be on the safe side, all the face cards are marked, so make sure you lose a few hands to avoid suspicion, he says. Ollie surprises me by immediately being in.
He's not like immediately. At first he's nervous until like he talks about the marked cards, and then he's in. But he doesn't seem 100% into this until the games start.
He seems 100% in after the suggestion of cheating. I don't know, it just seemed like a strange moral choice for Ollie to be.
Well, let's not forget, we don't know very much about Ollie.
He's such a voice of reason and was such a common sense character in the Megan stuff.
Yes, but let's not forget, before that, he was this creepy guy who was calling
creepy.
somebody while staring at Toya and talking about what Toya's doing and lurking.
He was creepy because of his secret family who were about to come into the show.
Right, yeah.
I don't know, I just don't feel like Ollie is that sort of morally ambiguous character. So it surprised me a little bit. And especially when it was only for 300 quid. He was only going to get 300 quid out of it. Yeah. So it wasn't even like he was doing it for, this was going to be a massive payday for him.
Well.
Anyway, he agrees to play with thousands of pounds of Idris's money for 300 quid in return. At this, Ben comes in looking to have pints with Ollie, but it's a no-go now thanks to this job.
Right, so he's lost this date with Lauren and now drinks with his dad.
Mm-hmm. Ben glares at Idris as he leaves. Throughout this, Brody is pissed that Idris didn't approach him to play poker. So when he goes to see Kit in another storyline, he lets it slip about the poker night, but then swears him to secrecy. Meanwhile, Alia tells Idris that she has another potential buyer and advises him to get his finger out and get her paid. So the poker players arrive at Speed Daal, and wouldn't you believe it, one of Idris's mates plus one is Gangsta Fiona, and she's come to win, and win big. And she belittles Ollie and pisses off Lauren, who wants to give her a slap. Ollie loses the first hand as planned, and then Kit comes in looking for a game. Idris tries to get rid, and Fiona recognises Kit as a copper. "What's your name again?" asks Kit. "You can call me a taxi," says Fiona. "Fiona, you're a taxi." "I'm out of here," she says. Kit says that he's not here as a copper, and he flashes some cash, so everyone is suddenly thrilled that a policeman is present in their illegal gambling den, and he's allowed to buy himself a seat. The gambling is frenetic, and Kit, who doesn't seem to know how to play poker, bets $3,000 despite having fuck all, and then calls when Fiona raises him. Then Ollie calls too, and Fiona has a full house, and Kit's got fuck all and refuses to show his cards despite the fact he's been called, and Ollie has 4 queens and wins $30,000. Huzzah!
Huzzah!
And that is the end of poker night. Brody has been the bartender but has got pissed himself, and he challenges Idris about why he didn't get to play poker instead of Ollie, and Idris points out that he's a shit liar and he's a flake for inviting his fucking dad to play. In the Rovers, Ollie and Lauren finally get back together and smooch, but are interrupted by Ben when he hears talk of money. Ollie lies and says that he's designing a new menu for Idris. Ben admits that he doesn't trust the bloke. Leanne comes back into Speed Daal once everything's cleared up, and Idris tells her that a pal has paid him so he can pay her back, and now he has the money to buy Speed Daal. "Yeah, thanks to Ollie and your gambling den," says Brody, who's still a bit pissed. And Leanne is
fucking furious
at Idris for gambling with her money, and she storms out, leaving Idris firmly in the cunt books.
Right, yeah.
Fair enough.
I mean, fair enough, because that money was meant to help But once you give somebody money, unless it's to fix their teeth, I don't think that you can say, oh, well, that's not what I gave you that money for. Because he used it. He in a way, he invested it to get the rest of the money.
Just to be clear, I didn't say anything about how anybody used any money that may or may not have been given in order to fix their teeth. I complained to you about it, and that was it.
Once, which is fine.
That's lingered in your memory, though.
It just came up because I was thinking about it. I was thinking about the thing.
Moving on.
The thing that I found really interesting about this storyline is the attention to detail that they have here about the fact that Idris, as a practicing Muslim, cannot gamble.
Yes.
Of course, all these other people on the street are Christians, so technically shouldn't be gambling either. But, you know, it's the same part of the Bible that says you can't gamble. But I did appreciate that attention to detail there. I thought that was very good of the show to pay attention to that. I appreciated that. And that's why Ollie has to play. Mm-hmm. It's an attention to detail that also is a part of the plot.
Well, yeah, and it also helps Idris out because it would be suspicious if Idris throws a poker night
and then
with
wins.
his cards
and wins
in his restaurant
and
manages to win 30 grand.
Yeah.
Because as far as Fiona's concerned at this point, Ollie is the owner of a super successful startup or something.
Right, yeah. And I don't understand why Idris lies about that.
Well, it's going to cause a little bit of trouble. He could quite easily have said he's my chef. Because chefs, as we will find out when we go to see the Tony movie this weekend, I think are notorious for gambling and drinking too much and
doing lots of drugs
and,
and all that fun stuff.
It's a certain character that tends to find themselves working in a restaurant.
Of course. Ollie is no Anthony Bourdain.
He is not. I'm trying to think if there's a parts unknown joke. I'm not sure that there is.
Or a no reservations joke. Yeah. Yeah, Ollie is more Jamie Oliver, isn't he?
I was going to say Jamie Oliver, but Jamie Oliver's a bit of a cheeky chappy, and Ollie's not that either. He's more of a Gary Rhodes, but without the good hair.
I don't know who that is.
It's a bit of a stretch for Gary Rhodes. He's Delia Smith. That's who he is. He's Delia Smith.
I'll tell you one thing.
He's no Gordon Ramsay.
Well, no, of course not.
What's that?
Or Julia Child. That's who I was going to say. He's no Julia. You don't know who Julia Child is?
No. Okay. In the 30 seconds that I've been aware that I don't know who Julia Child is, I've already made my peace with it. Anyway, Idris throws Brody up against a wall and says that if he betrays him again, first he'll get a written warning and then he'll get a punch in the throat.
And then he'll have to speak to HR.
Right. On Thursday, Idris begs Leanne to have a conversation about what happened the other night, but she doesn't want to talk to him in her restaurant. See, this is what I was going to say.
It's not even his restaurant
yet.
What
the $5,000 should have been from Leanne was, I can buy more of a share.
Right.
So she could have like 60% of it or whatever.
Right.
It didn't seem like she was loaning it to him.
Right. Yeah. And I guess the reason why that wouldn't work is I don't think he would go for that. I think that would be too much. I don't think he would go for 60-40.
And you're right. I think if she lends him money, however he spends it, as long as she gets the money back when they've agreed to pay her back, then she really can have no complaint. But I think from the loaner's point of view, to give somebody money for an express cause, such as getting the money together to invest in Speed Daal, for it not to then be spent on that, feels like it was got under false pretenses. Because if Idris had said, "Can you give me $5,000 so I can gamble it?" Should have probably
Said no.
told him to fuck off. So I can see where she's feels a little hoodwinked here.
Right.
Anyway, so on Thursday, Idris begs Leanne to have a conversation, blah, 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 blah. So they go to Nina's Rolls instead, and basically Idris gets back in the good books by promising never to lie to her again and saying that he only lied to her in the first place because he didn't think she'd approve of the shit he was about to pull. Oh. Meanwhile, it's exam result day, and in what would be unreasonable behaviour of the week contender, if we did unreasonable behaviour of the week, Ben is upset that Ollie is going to work rather than hanging around and being late so he can hear how much Will fucked up his GCSEs.
So weird. Ben...
You need to get your priorities right, said West Country Ben.
He definitely has a favourite child, and it's not Ollie.
It's definitely not Ollie. What a strange thing.
Because remember, he was unreasonable like this during the whole Will thing. Like
all the way through that.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was dismissive and downright nasty.
Yeah.
And this time...
And also kind of blamed Ollie for not figuring out what Megan was doing. And it's like, Ollie's not his mum or dad.
Mm-hmm.
This is your fault, Ben.
And you were there as well, Ben.
Yeah.
So this honestly got my back up. That Ollie, a grown man
Yeah.
who has to go to work,
Yeah.
is guilted into staying and get his priorities. Like that family comes before... Wait, family comes before when it pleases you, Ben.
Right, yes. And family comes before work when it's like your gran is on her deathbed.
Yeah. Not when Will has maybe passed or not passed some
maybe
exams.
Passed 2 exams, and that's it.
Yeah, turns out that Will's only fucked up some of his GCSEs, so well done, says everyone. Sam has also had a disappointing result. He only got 67% in his maths, which he was taken early. But that doesn't stop both clans going to the Rape Hotel for dinner to celebrate. Fiona turns up at Speed Daal to see Idris, but sees Ollie working behind the counter and learns that he's the new chef, and she is fucking furious. Over dinner, Leanne announces that she and Idris are now co-owners of the curry house, but Leanne has negotiated a 51% stake.
Yes.
And Idris is almost forced, because this is done in public, to go along with it.
But again, 51-49 is not... I mean, how do you even divide it that way?
Well, when there's 2 people involved in it, one person always gets the final say, and it's not you, Idris.
Right. But by only 2%.
She still has more of a stake. That's the bottom line. She could have 50.1% of it, and she's still the majority shareholder.
I suppose.
Nick is super pissed off about this. I'm not sure why. Why is Nick? Because he just doesn't like Idris.
Isn't it funny how all the men on the show hate Idris? Because Nick hates Idris.
Adam hates him.
Adam hates him.
Hates him just because he was a bit cocky, I think.
Ben hates him.
Mm-hmm.
Kit hates him.
Yeah, everybody does hate him.
Yeah.
Apart from the ladies.
Right, yes. And maybe that's why?
LL Cool Idris.
I mean, Brody likes him, but that's,
I don't know that Brody likes him anymore. On the street, Ronnie is minding his own beeswax when he sees...
Ronnie doesn't like him either.
when he sees Fiona. Well, Ronnie has no opinion of him, I don't think, until now.
Right.
When Fiona, who's parked and waiting for him, says that Ronnie owes her a favour about the whole gun thing, and she wants to call it in so that he will deal with Idris, and she'll be in touch with more details. Stay tuned.
Has nobody figured out that Jodie's gun is the missing gun?
No. On Friday, Leanne and Idris meet up with Adam and Alia and Speed Daal and talk about the contract and that business should be concluded next week. Adam glares at Idris throughout this, clearly still not a fan. So Idris leaves and they literally bumps into Ronnie, who tells him to watch where he's going. Alia tells Adam to make an effort because so many people are pissed off with Adam at the moment that maybe he should be trying to keep Idris on side. And making an effort seems to be playing darts with Alia, Idris, Alia... I've already said that.
Yes.
Alia, Idris, Toya, Nick and Leanne later on. Once Adam has managed to get himself unbarred. After Adam has won the manly game of darts, Leanne and Idris talk about him staying over at hers tonight. Idris isn't sure because Sam will be there, but she reckons that Sam won't give a shit one way or the other. And then she senses Nick earwigging behind her, so feels compelled to moodily ask for his opinion, given that he's Sam's dad. Nick sarcastically says that Leanne and Idris are in a loving and devoted relationship, so he has no objections. Privately, Adam asks Nick how he really feels, and Nick, after making a bizarre funny face for a few seconds, when I think he might have soiled himself, announces that he fucking hates Idris's guts. And that's as far as we get with that this week.
It's weird because none of these guys have seen Idris beat up the other guy who used to own Abby's apartment.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't.
Or poor Damo.
Yeah, they haven't seen him rough out Damo, or throw Brody up against a wall.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't seen any of this, so I'm not quite sure what they're basing it on, other than just he's a very handsome man.
Even in the pub here, in this scene, when he says to Leanne, I'm not too sure about staying over because what happens when I get up in the morning and Sam's there and Sam's going to see me and
right.
Maybe it's too soon. It's a uncommonly...
It's a very thoughtful thing to say.
Thoughtful thing to be aware of enough to say. And to... Maybe he doesn't get his hold tonight.
Right. And he's fine with that.
So, this seems like a very... My best friend Brandon is watching Project Hail Mary and has just got to the karaoke scene.
Oh.
I warned him.
Oh.
I warned him.
This is the first time he's seen it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Yep. We were talking about this today.
Oh, such a great scene.
Oh, Sandra Hüller, you break my heart.
Every time.
I can't talk about it. But Idris is in touch with the right part of his emotions and heart at certain moments, whilst also being capable of using his strength and wits to hurt people.
Yes. He's very much like Damien was. Remember Damien? I liked him. It's funny they don't bring him back to babysit Harry at some point. That was Sarah's Short King. But yeah, we keep getting these gangsters with a heart of gold sort of guys.
And yet, he's doing this in public.
Right.
And nobody acknowledges us apart from
the women.
Leanne. Mm-hmm.
Because Toya doesn't seem to have a problem with him. And Alia is cautious because he's family. And she's known that he's been tricky in the past.
And she's already been burnt by him a little bit.
Right.
And she was burnt by him about the whole 35 grand thing.
Right. Yeah. But then she stood her ground, which was nice.
Good job. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, she's really the only person here, apart from Brody and that guy and Gavin and Damo, who has any reason to be cautious about him.
Mm-hmm.
There's a scene. I'm sorry. I have to talk about this because I rewound it and watched it 6 times. There's a scene in the Sally and Tim storyline where Sally comes in, into the house and Tim is in the kitchen and she walks in and she puts her purse on a stool behind her, and the purse kind of goes like this. And then for the briefest of seconds, you see a hand reach over and pull it away before it falls.
What?
Yes.
Wait a minute. What day was this?
I can't remember. I watched all
What was happening?
Tim was alone in the house and Sally came in and Sally asked about Lucy or something. And she had one of her big bags. It wasn't a small purse. It was the size of my blue Kate Spade bag. And it was weird that there was a stool there and she set it on the stool. But then it's behind her, so you can't really see very well, but you kind of see it like slump, like the whole thing is going to fall. And then you kind of see a hand reach out and grab it, and then it shoots to Tim, and then when it's back to Sally, the purse is gone.
You been drinking?
No.
I don't remember a scene where Sally comes home.
And it's just Tim in the house. And like that part of the house, like the living room is dark. It's weird. And the only room that's really lit is the dining room kitchen area where Tim is sitting.
So it's at night time.
I guess.
Well, Helen, I've got a busy enough weekend coming up, but you're going to have me go through all the episodes this week and all these scenes.
And like, if you don't see the full hand, you see like maybe 2 fingers, but then the purse is gone when it shoots back to Sally.
Well, place your bets, folks. Did this actually happen? We'll find out.
Everybody's going to be rewatching.
I think they'll just wait for me to do it. All right, our penultimate storyline is Whitby Calling. On Friday, Nina was announced earlier in the week as being off ski already, but she was just off for her interview at the Independent Art Gallery in the goth capital of the UK, Whitby. She's back today and she tells Roy that the interview was awful and she let the nerves get the better of her. Later in the pub, Ash is upset that Nina didn't say anything to her about going to Whitby for a job interview. And let's remember the whole song and dance about Ash and needing a roommate to be able to afford rent on the flat above the shop that her dad owns.
Which does not come up at all in the scene.
Nina explains about the disaster of an interview and how Asha was right when she angrily told Nina that she needed to get a life. Everyone has moved on, says Nina. And then her phone pings with a message from Ruby. No, not that Ruby.
Not that Ruby.
Ruby from Whitby.
Who we'll never see and never mention again. So it's okay that her name is Ruby.
Nina can't even read it, so Asha grabs her phone and announces that Nina actually aced the interview and the job is hers. Fuck off, says Nina. No, you fuck off, says Asha. No, you fuck off, says Nina. I'm going to miss you, says Asha, when you go to Checks Notes, Whitby, and she gives Nina a hug.
Checks Notes, the goth capital of the UK.
Yes.
Which I thought was Glasgow. Is that more like a...
Why would you think that?
Because I remember seeing goths in Glasgow.
There are goths in Glasgow.
Yes. There are also a lot of punks in Glasgow, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like men with orange mohawks walking around in kilts.
Yep.
That's Glasgow. Do you know there's a B&B in Scotland that's like...
There's no B in Scotland.
There's a B&B. There's a bed and breakfast in Scotland that's over a bookshop. And while you are in the B&B, you get to run the bookshop.
This doesn't sound like the
money,
deal of the century, I have to say.
And all the money that you make from running the bookshop and being able to sit in a bookshop all day and read while also selling books to people and talking about books with people and being cozy in a bookshop, all the proceeds go to the book festival that they hold in this town where the B&B is. Sounds delightful to me.
Anyway, so that's the trap has been set for Nina leaving, I guess, next week.
Yes.
Probably halfway through Monday's episode.
Yeah.
Damp squibberama.
Yeah. You know, she has said that initially she was hoping that she would be able to do both things. Be Clarice on stage and Nina on Coronation Street.
Yeah.
But just realized that there's just no way.
No.
There's just no way. And it's fine. And this is only like Coronation Street with her big break. It was like her first acting role. So Clarice in Silence of the Lambs on stage is her second gig. That's pretty good.
Seriously.
She will never have to do a commercial.
Or panto unless she really wants to.
Right, yes.
No, good for her. And I think the door's been left open for her returning.
Right, yeah.
Once this is done, or if she wants to come back at some point.
They're not killing her off.
No. And that's good.
Isn't it weird, though, that we still have no idea what happened to Cassie, and they don't mention it at all this week?
Yeah, I don't think they've forgotten about it, but they're doing this thing where this storyline and other storylines that were important
right, yes,
a couple of weeks ago or just absolutely radio
like
silence.
This big, huge Betsy with a stroke storyline.
Mm-hmm.
not a peep.
No, because we're kind of into that recovery, and
Right.
nobody really is going to
We
get
don't
any
even-
drama out of that.
We don't even see Carla like walk into Nina's rolls and somebody say, "Oh, how's Betsy doing?" We don't even get that.
I do hope, though, that Nina gets a decent Cheerio. I hope she gets her black cab moment.
Yes,
Because I think she's deserving of it.
I think so too. I'm really sad
There was
to
a
see her
time
go.
when the show was revolving around Nina.
Yeah.
And that was many years ago now. But she was super at that point.
Absolutely.
And we wish her the best. And
Yes,
she's
we
not left yet.
Yes.
Our final storyline, the return of the old Todd.
Boo.
Yeah. On Monday, Todd's back. He snuck in the middle of the night, and so Mary ended up walking in on them in the shower. A likely story.
Uh-huh.
He sits on the couch, man spreading like a champ, so Mary, without looking and without missing a beat, places a cushion over his whatnots.
Yes, because
Well-
he's only wearing a robe.
Well, George and Christina get excited about a trip to Somerset to see George's cousins.
Is Somerset nice?
I've never been.
They make it sound nice.
It's warm, I think.
He's
I
in
always
the
get
south.
confused about which corner Somerset's in. It's Cornwall. Cornwall is the southwesterly point where Land's End is. I think it's Devon and Cornwall. So Devon's down there as well. I think it's down amongst the Devons.
Ah.
In the pub, Todd is fighting off the jet lag by hitting the pints quite hard. Christina suggests that this might not be the best thing for jet lag. It is.
Especially since he has to work in the morning.
And Todd snaps back that, well, at least he hasn't fallen off the shopping addiction bandwagon, Christina. And this shuts everyone up. Is that true? Asks George, and Christina admits it. And George is furious because he's remembered that he's up to his tits in debt, and here she is spending her money on Fabergé eggs. Well, fuck it. I'm going to see my cousin in Somerset on my own, says George. Christina glares at Todd, blaming him for her failings. On Tuesday, Christina and Todd are bickering about George fucking off and leaving Christina without even saying cheerio. But
Don't you feel like it's weird that George is going to see his cousins without his sister?
now I do.
Does Glenda not get to see her cousins? Is there something we should know about Glenda and the cousins?
Yeah, they probably don't get on. They're interrupted by Sean and then James, who reminds everyone that it's boys' night in the pub tonight, but Christina can come along too. Todd is late getting
She's
to the
an
pub
honorary boy.
and is playing catch-up and wants to get on the shots immediately. Christina, after making a little bit of fuss about joining in, bails quickly and goes home, but she warns Sean and James to keep an eye on Todd, who thinks he's hitting the barleycorn a little bit too hard of late. It's only Tuesday, and he came back on Monday.
And he hasn't been sober for most of that time.
On Wednesday, there's a weird woman hanging around outside Bernie's, and she eventually meets with Todd to talk about arranging her friend's funeral. And then Todd goes into town to get fucked in every way possible while Glenda makes a face. Not that Glenda's going to be there while he's getting fucked every way possible. When Glenda hears about this, she makes a face. On Thursday, that woman with the wig comes back and speaks to hungover Todd about organising her own funeral. She's accompanied by Fraser, not Frasier, her neighbour, and Fraser and Glenda go off to the pub to kill time, and they get on famously, so much so that the two of them have already arranged to meet up later. Glenda tells Sean that she's in love. Todd is off out again after getting lucky last night, but Christina decides to go along with him to keep an eye on him. It's what George would have wanted, she says. And then on Friday, Christina's worse for wear while Glenda is getting ready for her date with Fraser, and Todd gets home from shagging some other random. We can tell that he's been a dirty stop out because his shirt is half hanging out. Christina points out that he's been out every night since he got home. Todd says that she's jelly and goes off for a shower. At the Undertaker's, he learns from Wig Lady that Fraser is as gay as get out, so won't be interested in Glenda in that way. Then he gets a call from George giving him a hard time for all these recent shenanigans, and Todd is furious that Glenda's grassed him up, so furious that he refuses to listen to Wiggy's ridiculous demands for her funeral to the point that she storms out
Her Dolly Parton funeral.
in a terminally ill way. Todd goes to the pub and berates Glenda for interfering and warns her to keep her nose out of his fucking business and tells her that her life is empty and meaningless. All their lives are empty and meaningless. This upsets Glenda, who drops some truth bombs that Todd is turning into a right little shitbag, and if he isn't careful, he'll end up a lonely and bitter old man. Todd storms out and bumps into Fraser on the street on his way to meet Glenda in the pub, but Todd tells him that Glenda's got the shits and maybe he'd like to go and have sex with him instead. Fraser would like that very much.
Yes.
Glenda thinks that she's been stood up and so goes out with Summer and Christina and Mary to the movies. And when they get back home, Glenda is resigning herself to a nunnery when a topless Todd comes into the living room with Fraser close behind looking for his shoes. Glenda is mortified as Fraser hopes that she's got over her shit soon.
What rom-com do you think they went to see? Because they come in complaining that they don't like rom-coms anymore. Do you think it was that one in Italy that we saw earlier this year?
No.
Because it's definitely not like One Night Only or The Invite, and I can't think of any other sort of romantic comedies this year.
I think they went to see Terrifier 3 and they just happened to be talking about rom-coms. Everyone is appalled by Todd's behaviour, but he refuses to admit they did anything wrong or underhanded here and says Fraser wouldn't have been interested in Glenda anyway, and in actual fact he's probably done her a favour. Oh, my hero, says an upset Glenda, and she dashes upstairs because she lives there apparently. What happened to her house? Have we talked about this before? I feel like we have.
Yeah, I don't know why she's living there, because George gave her the house.
Mm-hmm. Summer and Mary make disapproving faces at Todd, who doesn't care. Later, Summer tries to talk to him about his actions and how it's mired in the Theo stuff, but Todd says that he's back to being the real him, like he was before, not giving a shit about anyone. Summer reminds him that he stopped being that person off camera when he and Paul and Billy inexplicably became friends. Tough shit, says Todd. Being nice got me bullied and abused, so now I'm going to bully and abuse people, and if they don't like it, they can suck my balls. And that's how we end this week's episodes.
Yeah. And yet, we started this week with Todd forgiving Sarah and saying that he'll always be here for her and she's his best friend and they love one another. So we start with that.
Mm-hmm. And Sarah, who had arguably the most impact on the whole Theo storyline by killing him.
Right, yes.
But he forgives her.
He forgives her, but all the other women in his life, because let's not forget, he's not treating James or Sean this way. He's just treating Summer and Mary and Christina and Glenda this way.
Mm-hmm.
He's just being so shitty to them and for no apparent reason except that they are right and he is wrong. But other than that, he kind of seems like regular Todd. Like he does his job. So it's like he's two different people this whole week. So it's not like he's really gone back to being shitty Todd. And even when he was shitty Todd, there were people that he did care about. So it's not like he was just looking out for number one all the time.
He was vengeful about Glenda. Because he deliberately interfered in her date,
like I said,
with Fraser.
He's shitty to the women that care about him, except for Sarah. And is fine with the men who, I guess, care about him. Sort of.
But that's the only thing that he did that was something that the old Todd would have done.
Is the Cole Glenda thing. Mm-hmm. And then not admitting that he did something wrong.
And you see him in the moment and he looks absolutely appalled.
Yeah.
At what's happening.
Yes. And it's weird because you're like, what did you think was going to happen? 3 of these 4 women live with you.
Mm-hmm. I think that's why he treats them the way that he does as well. This is a kind of familiarity, family sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. But the fact that he's so shitty to Summer and doesn't admit to Summer that he's done anything wrong,
the one
that's
that hurts.
the thing that shocks me.
And it hurt before when Theo was still alive and someone was trying to intervene and thought that that Theo was a wrong un who probably killed Billy, and Todd was less than polite back to her. So it always seems to hurt the hardest when Todd's nasty to Summer.
Yeah.
And it wasn't really nasty as such, but he was dismissive of her.
Yeah.
And you're right, I think, that he knows that they're right, because while he's putting on this bit of bravado and this bit of front about his exploits and how his life is now revolving around getting drunk and having sex, you can see that in the back of his head he knows that this is a problem. And I was watching Craig Ferguson talking about his alcoholism on a talk show. I can't remember who it was talking to about it. Do you know, it was very interesting, and it was very reminiscent of thoughts that I'd had, where when you're telling yourself that you don't have a drinking problem, but you do know that you do, but when you say that you don't, you're able to kind of trick yourself just a little bit.
Right.
And I think whether we're heading down a Todd's an alcoholic road, which it feels like we are,
Yeah.
and I really wish that we wouldn't use alcohol as a dramatic crutch for so many storylines.
Right. And so many people on the street.
While we are, it seems, heading that way, he already knows that that's the direction that he's heading.
Right.
He just doesn't care enough about it to do something about it
Right.
in that moment.
It'd be so much more interesting if he was just whoring.
Right.
You know, if he was just trying to fill the void with sex. And that feels like that would be more in line with what Todd would do. Is just fill the void with meaningless sex because he just doesn't care to give himself heart and soul to another person. That would be a more interesting story. But the show likes booze.
Really does.
It likes to make people drunk and angry.
And although I guess maybe it's understandable, it also has that repetitive feel because this is a storyline, one-off, 3 storylines that revolve around a murder of some nature. The whole history of how the show deals with its relationship with alcohol that goes back longer than we've been doing this.
Right. It's back to when men on a break from clearing up debris and dead bodies from a train disaster go in the bar and have some pints.
Yep, on their break.
On their lunch break.
So it doesn't feel like we're boldly treading any new ground here.
No.
And I think that was mostly my problem with the entire week. That
Yeah.
I found an awful lot of the week fairly dull. I actually quite liked the poker stuff because I liked Brody in it.
See, I didn't like Brody in it. I thought it was just, oh, look, there's Brody on a job and getting drunk.
Yeah, I liked him.
I don't like it
before that
because
more.
you know, because when you see that, you're like, Brody, what are you doing? Like 10 minutes ago, you were being very reasonable and mature with Sally and Tim, and now you're not. Now you're being this caricature of a young man in his late teens getting drunk at work.
Yeah, it feels like all the storylines that we had this week were in a bit of a slump as far as the dramatic payoff was concerned. It was a bit of a slog this week. And it was a slog earlier on in the week. I feel like it picked up maybe a little bit towards the end, but the first part of the week was kind of hard going.
Yeah.
Well, that was the week that was Coronation Street. Helen, tell me, what was your moment of the week?
I think we have to give it to the poker game, don't we? Because it was the most interesting thing that happened all week.
There was a really interesting shot of outside Speed Daal that opened one of the episodes. I thought it would be hilarious if we gave moment of the week to
An interesting shot where there's no people.
to the opening shot where Idris is out of focus.
Yeah.
See, they get poker wrong though.
I mean,
The way that the people play poker here are how people in movies play poker, where that none of this happens.
If we only talked about the things that Coronation Street gets wrong, we'd be here all week.
Fine. The poker night. What about the poker night? Just in general?
Yeah. And the whole like back and forth between Fiona and Ollie.
Do you know, I kind of like
really liked
Fiona.
the way, I really liked Fiona in that. And I really liked Ollie in that because, you know, at first he seemed kind of nervous when he first sat down.
He sold his
but
bluff
then he
quite
kind
well.
But then, he started to sell his bluff quite well. And I liked that he stood up for Lauren.
I like that Fiona has been brought back into this to get revenge on Idris. And I don't care enough about Idris to hope that Fiona fails or to be worried about Idris. I'm actually hoping that Fiona manages to do something here. So
I don't, because it feels like we haven't gotten enough Idris to really care one way or the other.
poker night though.
Poker night.
Moment of the week.
Your boring moment of the week. You called it earlier on.
Yes, Brian and Maggie talking about boiled sweets.
You got to respect the boiled sweet. That's our
Boring moment of
It's a choking hazard.
yeah. We don't do the Twitter poll anymore because we don't do
Because fuck Elon Musk.
because of that. So, Helen, tell me, what was your score out of 10 this week?
4.5, 5, 4.5, 4.5.
I'll go 4.5.
Yeah,
I thought it was fairly dull.
yeah, it was
And it
kind
was
of
fairly
boring.
dull last week.
Yeah,
I need something to be excited about.
yeah, and the whole dead Rachel thing just irritates me because we're expected to care about a dead woman who we don't even know what she looks like.
Yeah.
And I really don't like this Todd storyline.
All right, we'll wrap this one up then. This episode was brought to you with thanks to our friends of the podcast: Daisy, French Helen, Pickles, DT, Wendy, Noel, Canadian Helen, Christy, Shandy, English Victoria, Aurora Yvonne, Heather Westerfield, Brittany Porter, Laurie Anna, Tina, Leah, Tara J, Fiona B, Canadian Jennifer, Josephine Osingi, Anne Greenwood, Trish R, Sarah Purbrick, Hunker Munker, Darren, the artist formerly known as Seal My Fridge, Pamela, Marge JT, Tom Ambrose, Christopher Anstey, Terry in LA, Joe T, Corey Dales, Matthew McInerney, Welsh Emma, Matthew S, Rachel B, Uranium Jennifer, Kathleen Monchero, Gary Heatley, Pam but not that one, Una, Amy, Jenny Roll, Ozzy Alley,
Oi, oi, oi.
Chris Horrocks, Cameron from Edmonton, Matt Birch, Library Jen, Jack the Marner, David MacArthur, Saskatchewanian Karina, Rebecca, Uper Danes, Jem, Iona, Anthony L, Charlie, Anthony H, Williams Fan 1982 and Sarah J. Oh, thank you ever so much, everybody. We really appreciate your support.
We do.
If you've ever had an interview in Whitby, write in to tell us about it. We're the Talk of the Street at gmail.com and we're at Corrie Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Threads and Blue Sky, or reach us the old-fashioned way, the Talk of the Street, P.O. Box 212, Eaton Rapids, Michigan 48827. Our spoiler show will be available shortly after this one, and in this month's classics, we're going to be talking about something this month. Get access to this exclusive content by becoming a friend of the podcast. Find all the links at corriepodcast.com and be sure to check out our pop culture sister podcast, The List of Lists.
It was Gav's birthday. We didn't do one.
Thanks for making it to the end of another episode, and we will be back next week with more
Talk of the Street.
The Talk of the Street, y'all.
Bye.
Cheerio.